Oh man, something just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. Gosh, what do I do now? Stay tuned and find out. Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, headquarters for wisdom in golf. And it happens to all of us every time we go out and play. You sit up to a ball, you're getting ready to hit your shot, and you know something just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't look right. You can't put your finger on it, but yet what do you do about it? Most of you are just going to hit the shot anyway and take a big number. We got to avoid that at all costs. So here's what you do. When you get set up, you need a target, right? You need an action to target. So what's a good action to target feel like? Well, imagine you had a sword in your hands and you want to slash a nice bamboo shoot. Well, now I feel like I'm using the weight of the sword to perform the task. So you notice when you do that, you're going to feel the weight of the sword release your hand here. If you do that with the lead hand, just hold it at the bottom of the shaft, gather the sword, release the sword. Yes, I felt the release there. None of this stuff, this flippy stuff, really allow the weight of the sword to turn you over. It's like a boxer snapping a punch. You don't snap like this, you don't snap like that. So there's a very specific snap to that anatomy. You'll see that in tennis players during a serve. They call it that pronated release. So as I come through, it looks like I'm going to split the tennis ball in half, and then there's that beautiful release through that tennis ball, and you notice how my arm turns over. Same thing when you're throwing a football or a baseball. You're going to see that beautiful release through the shot. Well, golf is that same release, just underhanded. So I'm going to release to the target. I feel the weight of my club, and I'm letting the weight of the club release me toward that target. So I need to have the right distance between myself and the ball to do that. How do I do that? Well, if I'm swinging towards you and I allow it to release, well, notice gravity wants to place me at a very specific spot. If you go to our previous video that we just did on predict solid contact, that's a big one. So now from here, if I let the club release me in your direction, this is going to be pretty darn good. No way. So right now, if I let gravity do it, it wants to pass here. So in order to get to the ball, I'm going to have to physically hold it out there. My arms can't swing freely. So if the distance between you and the ball feels off, go to Goldilocks. Do something that's way too far from the ball. I say, there's no way I can swing to the target from here. There's no way I can swing to the target. Yes, I can swing to the target, and yes, it feels like when I do, that the club is going to pass exactly through that dandelion stem. I'm going to miss it, I'm going to top it, I'm going to cut the stem if I swing to you. Okay, now ball position. Now if I play the ball too far back in my stance, let's say I'm compressing a ball into a door frame. See that? So if the door frame's too far back here, I'm going to have to reach back in order to get the ball to squeeze straight in. If it's too far forward, I'm going to have to reach forward. So if I wanted to cut this dandelion stem, let's say in the direction of that intermediate point, I can't do it from here. Low point's over here. When I get to the ball, the club is already going back up into the air, so I feel like I'm going to top it from there. So if I play the ball too far back in my stance, well gosh, now it feels like I'm going to miss the ball in that direction. Notice how I just nicked the ball, bottomed out here, and then I hit the tee. So where do I place the ball where if all I have to do is just let it swing? So right now it feels like too far, too close, just right. Too forward, too back, just right. Okay, so now if I just let it swing, it feels like I'm going to net it. Last but not least, if I close the face too much, so I just take my normal grip, there it is, close the face too much, I'm going to say, okay, if I let it go from here, it feels like it's going to go too far left. If If I let it go from there, it's going too far right. If I let it go from here, it feels like it's going to go just about right. Now remember, handle leads through impact. So it should look a little closed at address for it to go pretty straight, okay? Now for those of you who've been with Wisdom in Golf a long time, you understand that hitting a straight shot is not really something that you want to try and do. If you let it swing and the ball goes straight, fine. So if I let it swing from here, it feels like I'm going to nut it, and it feels like it's going to fly reasonably straight. So, yep, nutted and very straight flying ball. And I went right through that intermediate point, and the ball flew right in the direction I wanted to. So if you feel that something is off, whether with the driver, now understand that the longer the club is, the further away your arms are going to be from the body. So distance to ball is going to get affected. So if I have an 8-iron here, I let it swing, my hands are going to be that far from my body. If I have a wedge, I let it swing. Now I'm going to be this far away from the body. There's the 8-iron. 5-iron is going to be here, 3-wood's going to be there, driver is going to be there. So the distance between my hands and the body is going to change depending on the length of my club. Very important. So what you need to do is predict how gravity is going to affect the swing before you install yourself with the ball. So if you have to do a couple of practice swings to see where gravity wants to put that club, there you go. So now I bring the machine. So notice I don't go arms first, then bring the body. I just lost everything. I don't go body first, then bring the club. I lost everything again. I want to feel that everything is going to pass. I'm going to bring it together. There you go. Now I've got the same distance. I've got the same distance. So now I can allow gravity to place me, and I know things are going to fall together quite nicely, okay? So when in doubt, go to Goldilocks. When you got you've eliminated that doubt, then it's out of your control. All you're going to do is let the club release you in the direction that you want to start the ball, and contact should be taken care of, unless you try and make sure. Then go at your own peril. Enjoy that. See you in the next one.